Hey, Utah did it again. Job numbers are higher here than the national average. We're doing much better. In fact, what did they do? More than double.
More than double, that's right. And joining us now is Jared Mendenahall from the Department of Workforce Services. Tell us about the most recent job numbers.
As we head into fall, we're looking out there in the mountains. We're seeing things are changing. Utah's labor market is healthy right now. We saw job growth, the amount of new jobs over the year. It grew by 1.9%. That's right there about that 2% that economists like to look for. That accounts for about 33,000 new jobs in the state of Utah. And then unemployment remained at that 3.3%, and that's below that 3.5% that economists like to keep it below. This is, as you mentioned, better than those national numbers. The national number is at 4.3%, and then job growth on the national stage was 0.9%. So as we're heading into that fall season, as we're transitioning, we're in a really healthy place where we're continuing to see job growth. We have that low unemployment. There are still more jobs available than workers looking for jobs, and we're actually seeing wages increase faster than inflation. So we're seeing it. We're in a good position to start things out.
Yeah, and numbers just coming out this morning.
Right.
Yeah. So these are fresh. Okay. Are there any changes that we've seen in our labor market here? Is it just
We're starting to see a little fluctuation. Those previous years, we were just seeing every sector was growing. We're not seeing that anymore.
Okay, so what's it impacted?
The big one is health and education still. We saw about 20,000 new jobs there. We're still seeing that rebound in leisure and hospitality. We had about 4,300 new jobs there. What we did see this month was a rebound in financial activity. So we saw about 1,200, 1,700 new jobs in that sector. We are still losing jobs in trade transportation and retail trade, warehouses, that kind of place. And then we're seeing some in just the other category, that lump sum that they just call other.
So what do you think that is?
You know, sometimes there's that feeling of like, this is how it is. 2-3 years ago, if you were looking for a job 2-3 years ago, you just had to kind of fog up a mirror and they would give you the job. And the situation isn't that way anymore, right? Yeah. And truthfully, that's not healthy either, right? Because now you're starting to pressure businesses. It becomes very expensive. They can't keep going. But there was so much demand in the state of Utah that we were running kind of at a white hot pace. And today it's not like that. But you kind of want to see where we're at with regards to those averages, right? Again, economists want to see about 2% job growth, and they want to see that unemployment rate between 3 and 3.5%. And that's where we're at right now. And you do need some unemployment, because that means that there is an ability for employers and businesses to find new workers when they need it. There's an ability for workers to go and find new jobs, so that there has to be a little bit, they call that frictional unemployment, and that's just kind of the natural rate of unemployment. So we're right there in those numbers. You're always looking for that balancing point when you're dealing with the economy, and we're seeing good numbers come out. Now, again, if you're looking for a job, it doesn't feel as, you don't feel as popular as you did 2-3 years ago. But there are still resources to help you through that. There are still jobs available. There's still opportunities. We're still seeing wages increase faster than inflation. And if you find yourself kind of ill-prepared for that, like you don't know how to write that resume, you don't know how to do that interview, come and see us at jobs.utah.gov, or if you're just looking for what's out there.
Yeah, that's a really good resource. I don't know if you're able to answer this, but right now we're doing good. But projections moving forward into the future, are we expecting the job numbers to stay?
It's hard to tell the future. It's really hard to predict the future. But what we've seen in Utah, and this has been a multi-decade transition, where Utah 40, 50 years ago was centered in just a handful of industries. And so if the mine closed down, then the whole economy kind of faltered. But today, they've, policymakers, business owners, they've all worked to really diversify Utah's economy. What we see, depending on what's coming, is that there's a really solid foundation there, where we still are seeing job growth. We're still seeing high levels of labor force participation. We're still seeing low unemployment. We still have youth coming into the job market. So there's a good foundation there. So if there is a slowdown, there's some space to kind of absorb that shock.
Can lower interest rates impact our job market?
Yeah, so interest rates went up in order to fight some of that post-COVID inflation. And we saw that cut this week. Business owners and investors want to see those interest rates come down because then that allows them better access to capital so they can expand their investments, they can grow their businesses. And then workers want to see those interest rates come down too because then that allows them to buy those big ticket purchases like a house or a car. And so usually the philosophy behind it is if you're not in a big inflationary period, you make money a little bit cheaper, and then that kind of greases the wheels of the economy and keeps everything running.
Yeah. But on the other hand, we've kind of seen some dark clouds on the horizon. Well, inflation, they've talked a lot about tariffs, those kinds of things. We kind of stayed insulated from that, but that's not always the case.
Again, hard to tell. I have a cracked crystal ball, so it's real foggy. But again, we just revert back to Utah has done a really good job in the past 40, 50 years of building a solid foundation for the economy. And that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be ups and downs. Like, that's natural. There could be another pandemic or something like that where you didn't expect it. But what we've seen is that the culture of work here, the young population, the policymakers, the kind of general philosophy of the economy has set up a really good foundation. And what you hope is that that's solid enough that if there is a shock, and we don't know if there's going to be one, that the economy and the labor market can absorb that without spiraling out of control.
And once again, if anyone's looking for a job or maybe thinking about starting a new career, where can they go and what are the resources?
Right. Workforce services. Now, some people are prepared. They're really good at looking for jobs. They don't have a problem with that. But if you find yourself ill-prepared, you don't know what you're doing. Workforce services, those are services that are available to all people here in Utah or Utah residents. And it's going to help you find that job. We have employment counselors that kind of help you through that job hunt. We have loads of resources and programs that can just kind of help you figure out what that next career move is, what that next step is, and then hopefully just connect you with that next job. Jobs are important to people. A good job solves a lot of problems. So if you are looking for a job or you're in a career that isn't really quite working for you, that can be really stressful. It can feel really lonely, but you don't have to do it alone. There's resources out there that can kind of help you navigate what you're going through.
Now, as far as the stats goes, and you get numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and there's been a little controversy there on the national level that maybe we're not getting the complete story. So what's Utah's reaction to that?
We're always talking about that balancing act,
Yeah.
right? So you want immediate data as quickly as you can, but that isn't always the most accurate data. Like, that's why at the end of the year we'll do these revisions and we'll see what was going on. And of course, BLS is going to be the best person to talk to about whatever steps they're taking to ensure that that data is good. But we have a staff of economists. They make sure they're reviewing it, they're watching it, and we want to make sure that we are giving everybody the best data. But we're open to, if you want to, if the BLS wants to take a look at their processes and come up with something better, we're always looking for that better option and to see how things are going.
Well, the bottom line is we're doing really well here in Utah.
Utah is good, and again, I mean, we completely understand that some people, depending on when the last time you looked for a job, if you were looking for a job 3 or 4 years ago, you were like, man, I was the belle of the ball. And today it doesn't feel like that. But that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities out there. And we'd encourage you, come on over, let us help you make sure that you're making that job hunt as effective as you can, and let's get you back out there and get you working.
Yeah, it's a great resource. It can be scary for someone.
Yeah, definitely can. Well, thank you so much, Jared Mendenahall, for coming in and talking to us. We appreciate it. From the Department of Workforce Services, and we will be right back after this break.